Welcome to the Retro Blood.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood. As we start off a brand new month here in the great month of March, the March Madness month, because the Retro Blood, for the first time ever, is going to be exploring the world of witchcraftery, of being possessed by unknown creatures of the dead, haunting your nightmares, haunting yourself, taking over your soul, doing some good old-fashioned progressive taking over your life.
Oh, right? Yeah.
Because we are doing the first ever Evil Spirit Month here on the Retro Blood. And up first, if y'all like tales of a Don't Call Me Ouija board, it's a fucking, what did they say it was? It wasn't a Ouija board, it's the other thing. Onji board or whatever.
No, they called it a Ouija board.
No, but
they just say pronounced it wrong. You pronounced it Ouija.
Yeah, Ouija. That's
what
it
which
is.
Which is probably correct. Yeah, but I don't think we just say it wrong.
Yeah. Get it right, assholes. Don't be saying this Ouija shit. It's Ouija.
No.
All right. If y'all like that, if y'all like teens fighting over a hot redhead, which is, I can dig that. I can dig that.
That's always fun.
If y'all like an evil spirit pretending to be a little dead boy and turning a hot redhead into a crazed maniac, and if y'all like a blonde dude's rich guy's tire blowing out, then this is the story for you, because the Retro Blood is talking all about Witchboard. J.H, Alison, James Kline, what's happening, Alison? What's up?
What's up, man? This is this was I thought I'd seen this movie before, but I was wrong. I never have.
First time.
This was surprisingly entertaining.
Yeah.
There's only one part that really got to me, and I'll get to that when we get there. But I do find it amazing how quickly all these characters can come up with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Like if they need one in the movie, they can just walk into seemingly any store and buy one.
Yeah. Well, they had to go to the special witch store. That was just so happened to be located in town.
Right,
and
of course.
To make it different, it was just a different
witch store.
It was like the 3D model of the Witchboard. I like that. All right. So this one's kind of fun. So this one actually has some fun history behind it, which we'll get into here pretty soon. This is also directed by one of my. Well, it was directed by one of my. He did one of my favorite movies of the 1980s, which we have done here on the Retro Blood in the past. It was actually, I believe it was our 2024 Halloween review. And that is one Kevin Tenney. And he did Night of the Demons.
Really?
Yes. And so this was his first movie.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yes. So that makes sense. Though. I can see that. I can see the director of this making Night of the Demons. Yeah,
Kevin Tenney. So this one right here, like I said, we'll talk about it when we do it long form.
Yeah.
But this right here was his director's debut. Okay. And it's the backstory of it's kind of fun. You know what I mean? It's not like, it's not like Citizen Kane, like he came up with this fantastic idea, but it's kind of a fun way he came up with this and everything.
Yeah.
But this guy right here is actually one of my favorite like directors when it comes to like some 80s movies, because he hasn't done a lot, but the ones he did were actually pretty fun. Like I feel like they're kind of like fun party movies. This one I wouldn't say it's like a fun party movie, but it does have a lot of character development that you actually really don't see in a lot of late horror movies, which I kind of appreciated. You know what I mean? So
I agree.
Yeah. So this one was fun. Like we'll talk all about it stuff. So But let's get right into it. Like I said, everybody, thanks for joining us here on the Retro Blood. Obviously, I have been on assignment, like I am sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I am here on assignment of where majority of horror movies are produced and made.
Yeah.
I am here in Vancouver, British Columbia right now.
Yes. You're back up in Canada again in the Great White North. Is it cold as fuck up there?
Actually, no. So Vancouver area is not like Ontario or whatever, where it gets like fucking crazy snow. Now there is some like 4 hours away and stuff. They're supposed to get some heavy snow, but the particular area I'm staying into, Vancouver City, all right, is actually not that cold at all. So
yeah,
it's like normal weather. Actually, even back home where you're at right now, it's probably colder than it's over here. That's why I'm in this tank top and everything, brother. All right?
I saw that. I thought maybe you had your heat cranked up and just wanted to show us the guns.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting pretty warm back home. It's just like 50 degrees right now.
Oh, okay.
Not too bad.
Yeah, but I'm out here. I guess you could say I'm out here scouting for our next Retro Blood movie. Because if we're going to make a retro, might as well make it here in Vancouver. Everybody else comes here.
Yeah, that's where you make movies now. Yeah. Vancouver.
So it's pretty cool so far. I like it out here. So but let's get into it. We got a big show ahead of everybody here. Everybody, like I said, thanks for joining us here on the YouTubes, the podcast, whatever podcast y'all listen to. Remember to like and subscribe to the Retro Blood. We appreciate y'all's comments. If y'all want to comment down below, do that too. Tell us you can tell us anything below. We don't really censor comments and shit. So if you want to tell us we did a great job, or if you want to tell us your memories of Witchboard or the director over here, Kevin and Night of the Demons, go ahead. Say whatever you want. As long as it's either educational or funny. If it's boring, I'll probably delete that shit. All right. All right. So anyway, let's get into the movie. So I got a couple of different release dates on here, but let's go with the one that got released fully in the US. All right. Yeah. Which was March. I just sent it over here. March 13th, 1987. So we're in the good old 87, brother. Okay, of the March. So I'll go first because mine's a little shorter than yours. Yours is a little bit more fun because yours kind of like ties in with the movie, which is pretty fun. But right now, like in March 13th of 1987, we are gearing up for arguably one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. And that, of course, is WrestleMania III.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Because WrestleMania III actually will happen March 29th of 1987. Of course, this one was headlined by the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. The card is most known for wrestling fans that have the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky the Steamboat, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the Intercontinental Championship. You got Harley Race on the show, Aretha Franklin. You got all the stars out here, brother.
Yes.
Okay, one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time. I believe this is the one where Andre also turns back babyface. No. Sorry, that was a different. This is the one where Andre. They didn't know if Andre was gonna. Supposedly, they didn't know if he was gonna drop the belt. Not drop it. Like it wasn't gonna like lose or something like that.
Yeah. They did. Because like you said, Andre. You can't pin Andre unless he lets you.
Yeah, one of those myths or whatever. So one of those many Hulk Hogan myths out there. All right. Yes. So, but yeah, we're gearing up basically during this time. So the WWF is full promotional mode. You know what I mean? We got the arena. All right, was it the Pontiac Silverdome? We got the
Pontiac
arena.
Silverdome.
Yeah, we got that one. We got the arena. Actually, I remember that. And the build up to it, they actually they announced the main event before they announced where it was going to be taking place. The actual Silverdome was actually a one of the last minute places that they announced, and it actually filled it up to about what I think they had a record of 60,000 or something like that. It was like a big giant record for the time
for the Silverdome.
Yeah.
For that show, no. The WWE claims it was 93,000 people.
Yeah, 93,000. Yeah,
but they're saying that's probably not true. It's probably more around 78,000.
Yeah, that's right. There was a disputed number. All right, and that was a big controversy kind of coming out of it and stuff. If you read the Wrestling Observer and stuff, but the most impressive part about WrestleMania 3, though, when it comes to the attendance, was there was a ton of walk up. All right. Like they actually didn't have a lot of advanced tickets, but they made it up on a walk up, which is you barely can do that nowadays. All right. Like
I was about to say that would be, it's really strange to think that you could walk up and buy tickets to WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the times right now are just so much. I mean, there's so much difference nowadays compared to then. It's like a whole new world. Because now, I bet you this WrestleMania 3, I bet you the highest ticket, what, $200, maybe?
No, it wasn't even that much. I guarantee it. I guarantee it wasn't even that high. No,
yeah, I know.
No, there's no way. I mean, like $100 ticket back then would have been insanely expensive. I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating, but I would say an expensive ticket was probably $50, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
because you got to consider, like in 1986, like concerts were like $10.
Yeah,
$10 or $11 back then.
So there was a couple little buildups to it and stuff, but like I said, we majorly had like the promos going on between all the stars during this period too. And when I was looking at my notes, we did have a lot of house shows in between, and it looks like a lot of them were headlined by Jake Roberts versus Kamala. All right, and resulting in a no contest, and then we had Roddy Piper defeating King Harley Race. And a lot of build up to the matches for WrestleMania 3. But yeah, I mean, definitely I would say this period right now for the WWF is like, I don't know, I feel like it was their 80s peak, was 1987 for this WrestleMania 3. I mean, because, at the time, that was a ginormous success for them. And like just one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time, with one of the biggest matches of all time. Hulk Hogan versus the supposedly undefeated Andre the Giant, even though he's been defeated before. So
yeah. And supposedly, and this is the show where he was body slammed supposedly for the first time, but we all know that's not true.
Yes. Yeah, he picked the 1,000-pound giant up, brother, in my shoulders, and I slammed him down to the mat. It's never been done before, even though it has been. All right.
Yeah.
So,
to answer your question, I found a couple of ticket stubs.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania 3. I found one for a lower level, section 120. So like right off the field, but like right where the seats start going up in the lower level. That was $20.
Wow. There you go. Bro, if you count that now, that is probably like $1,000 now.
Oh yeah.
Lower level WrestleMania?
Yeah. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Did you hear like the fucking amount of price that they're trying to sell this Las Vegas WrestleMania for this year of 2026? It's crazy.
Well, I mean, it was crazy last year. Like I was like, I don't know, because this would be perfect. Like this would be the perfect WrestleMania for me to go to, but it's just so expensive now that I mean, I don't know how anybody can go to this stuff. I wonder if by comparison, well, WrestleMania is 2 days now.
Yeah,
of course, where it was not 2 days before. But I mean, like, what can you buy right now? I mean, you could buy an upper level ticket to WrestleMania section 408, $215.
Yeah.
But that's like, way up there, though.
Way up there. Yeah, $250. Yeah. And that's even on sale.
Yes, that's on sale. Yeah. Like, so I mean, that's actually pretty affordable comparatively.
Yeah. So that's why
lower level. I mean, yeah.
1 night or 2 nights?
No, that was one. That was one night.
There you go.
That was Saturday night. So Sunday night, by comparison, these are not resale prices either. These are tickets that are just on sale. So like, what can you do? Get a ticket for Saturday night or Sunday night? Which Sunday night's the night to go, right? I mean, that's the night that CM Punk versus whoever's going to be there. Well, that's true. Not all the time.
Yeah, I mean, since they've been doing these 2-night WrestleManias, like they try to split them up like evenly, but sometimes like Saturday night's been better than the Sunday night show, or vice versa. Sometimes the Sunday one's been better than the Saturday one. So, I just think it's just crazy, man. I mean, like, it's just. I remember going to WrestleMania. I think it was 32 in Dallas. And my ticket was expensive for 2 people. It was like, actually for 2 people, compared to nowadays, it's cheap as fuck. But for 2 people, I paid around $230. That's with taxes and everything.
Wow.
And I was still up there on the higher rows and stuff. But I did mine wrong. I actually bought them early, which I should have just waited, and I would have got way cheaper. So
yeah, because it depends. Like right now, you couldn't do that probably.
Yeah.
But back then you could. It depends on how hot the business is. Like you know, like if they're hot, you can't wait. But you know, if they're not though, then you can. I would wait till the day of and just buy something day of and then go in. But yeah, pretty much. But yeah, had you known, you could have done that.
I know. Maybe I should have pulled out my my Ouija board. All right, and then
it would have come in handy.
I could have asked David if going to WrestleMania will be plausible or not under $50, and he would have been like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Well, it really depends on if he could spell all the words.
Yes, exactly.
Correctly.
So,
all right, we'll get to that.
But speaking of Witchboard magic, tell us what's going on in the metal music. Some fun stuff.
So it's really weird that this is all coming up at the same time. So Witchboard, which we're using the release date of March 13th, 1987, which I think was what you said was the major release when it went to video or whatever.
There was a early release in December, but the massive release was in March.
Yeah, so that's the real release. But so this movie stars Tawny Kitaen, who was a model, and then she became an actress. And she was also not quite yet, but she was about to start dating David Coverdale, who was the lead singer of a band called Whitesnake, which I don't know if we ever talked about Whitesnake before. I really like Whitesnake a lot. Yeah, I think they have a bad reputation. They're a great band. David Coverdale was in Deep Purple. He was the replacement singer for Deep Purple after Ian Gillan left. And then after that ended, he started Whitesnake. This was Whitesnake's 7th album. So it was like their self-titled album, but it was the one with all the hits on it. You know, it has Still of the Night and Bad Boys and Here I Go Again, or Here I Go Again. Yeah, Here I Go Again, which is the video that Tawny Kitaen is in, where she's like doing whatever she's doing on the roof of the car, the hood of the car. And then apparently he met her at that video shoot, and then they got together. So it's like love for a couple of years, kind of. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you've heard these songs, right? But I love this album. John Sykes was the guitar player on this. He is one of my favorite guitarists. He wrote all these songs. He actually had this weird situation with Coverdale because he had been in Whitesnake for a while, and him and Coverdale kind of just stopped getting along. And then they kind of split up for a while, and David Coverdale went to Los Angeles because he had a nasal infection or something. Like he got sick and he had to have surgery, and he took 6 months off. And then John Sykes and the band went to England and recorded all the music for the album. And then David Coverdale recorded all the vocals like 6 months later in LA. And there was a rumor at the time that John Sykes wanted to replace Coverdale and get a different singer, which I don't even know how you could get a different singer for Whitesnake. I mean, Whitesnake is David Coverdale. Yeah. And then that kind of ruined their relationship. And then he fired the entire band, and then he replaced them with a more 80s looking band with Adrian Vandenberg and Vivian Campbell and all those, or Rudy Sarzo. And I can't remember the drummer's name. He's a great drummer, one of my favorite drummers too, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, so he replaced him with this poofy haired, 80s looking band. Yeah. And then they became famous and it got huge. So basically when you're listening and watching those videos, nobody other than David Coverdale those videos are actually playing any of the music you're hearing. But it's just kind of a weird thing where he fired the entire band and then replaced them with poofy haired poodle rockers.
That's what you got to do, brother. You still got to keep the
you got to fit in, right? You got to fit in. You got to fit in. It's 1987. It's not 1977 anymore.
Exactly.
So you got to look like that, because they were one of those bands that we talk about a lot where they were a 70s band and they were trying to figure out how to survive in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it took them until 87 to figure that out. But they became huge though. They were still opening for people though. It's weird though, right? They were opening for Motley Crue and
a lot
but then but then they got big and then became famous, and the most famous album of all time. I did learn today though that album is apparently called 1987 by some people, but I'd never heard that before. To me, it's just called Whitesnake, and that's what they'd always called it. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
So I like Whitesnake, like you said, is all true with them. I don't think they get as much play as some of the bigger hair bands during this area, but I thought they're pretty solid. They did have a couple radio hits out there. Do they still play
off this album especially? Well, not now. So David Coverdale retired a few years ago, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So they had been playing up until like, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And then he retired. But yeah, but they stayed together a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a pretty big band for a long time and everything too. So we'll play a little bit at the end here for everybody that's listening to on the podcast format. Obviously not YouTube because they'll
because they hate us
for all the shit that we say or do and everything. But yeah, it's pretty funny. Like so like you were saying before, the actress. All right, what's her name? Tawny
Kitaen.
Yeah, Tawny Kitaen. So she did end up marrying the guy from Whitesnake, which
they got married in 1989, I believe.
Yeah, because so we'll get right into it, but we'll do this before we do Who Booked the Shit because it's a fun story.
Yeah.
So apparently when she was filming Witchboard, she supposedly had a relationship with one O.J. Simpson, of all people.
And she didn't get stabbed.
Yes. Very interesting. So apparently this is how it goes. This is what I heard when I was searching some stuff around. So she was dating him and stuff. And she would bring him on set, but like it'd be under like code names, like sometimes they'll list people who come to visit and stuff on set, but they couldn't add OJ to be on set and stuff because he was it was like his side girl was Tony, like he was married apparently, and Tony was his side chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our boy OJ up there with double dipping. All right. And
sorry, go ahead.
And they pretended like on set they were friends, but everybody on set was like, "Yeah, I know they fucking." So I thought it was a funny little story there.
Yeah, I believe he was still married to Nicole. Yeah, Nicole Brown Simpson. Yeah, and that's the woman he murdered.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So he was married to her, but he was cheating on her with Tawny Kitaen for like a year or so.
Yeah,
when this movie was made, because this movie was made in like 1985, I think.
Yeah,
or 86.
Yeah, it was like 85 because it took a long time to get the movie produced and made because of some setback issues, which we'll talk about here right now. Because let's talk about who booked this shit, brother.
Who booked this shit?
A lot of stuff going on with this film. All right. So what we got over here? Right here. All right. So this one right here, like I said at the beginning, was directed and written by Kevin Tenney. All right. And like I said, I know him the best, and I love him the best for Night of the Demons. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. Everybody, if you go into our archives, you can find that. I highly recommend listening to that show. Unfortunately, that one is not in video. It's only on podcast, but listen to it. It's a great one. I promise you.
Okay. I mean, he's made... Oh, sorry.
Okay, I was just checking something. And... All right, go what you're going to say.
And I was going to say, Kevin Tenney's made quite a few good movies, too. He made Witch Trap.
Yeah.
A few years later, he made Witch Trap, another witch movie.
Yeah.
He wrote Pinocchio's Revenge.
Yeah, of all things.
And I think he wrote all of the Night of the Demon movies, didn't he?
He didn't do number 2, I believe. I think he just did number 1 and number 3. But he did write. He did write all the Witchboard movies. All right, because they do have 2 sequels from this movie as well too, which we'll talk about some of those. All right, so basically the story was today he wrote this screenplay actually while he was a student at University of Southern California, and apparently he was actually inspired by actually attending a party in which a friend bought one of those Ouija. I'm just gonna say Ouija. I don't give a fuck what
Okay.
they really said. Okay, I grew up in saying Ouija, and I'm gonna keep saying Ouija. All right,
Sure thing.
all right. But I get one of them Ouija boards. All right, for party goers film, and then the basically like the scene where at the beginning where they're fucking around with the Ouija board and the guy gets angry, the tire blows out. That's what the whole story was. That was actually inspired by him hearing about that story and being like, oh shit. And then he also, while he was exploring the I guess the history of Ouija boards and witch boards and stuff, that's when he noticed the progressive entrapment. All right, which is basically when you have a spirit that takes over your body, a bad spirit that takes over your body while using a Ouija board like alone and stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the theory where the spirit is taking over you, making you change, like changing your personality. You know what I mean? Being nice to you at the beginning, but changing you over time is progressive entrapment. All right, so actually, it's a real thing apparently, and that's actually what the theme of The Exorcist was. It was based on that kind of theme. So
yeah, exactly. And I was about to say, I feel like this movie was somewhat inspired by The Exorcist too.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
Of it, yes, I can see it. All right, so then we have the Cinema Group gave Witchboard a limited theatrical release in the United States on New Year's Eve, 1986. That's the one we were going to be talking about, but we're talking about the March one. So they also had the producer Gerald Geoffrey was actually when they handed him the script and everything, it was one of the first scripts that he was trying to get going, and he liked the script so much that when he read it, he felt like it was like he could see the story just by reading the script. You know what I mean? Like he could see the whole story by reading the script. So he's actually the one who greenlighted the film and gave it a budget of $1 million. All right, and
which is still nothing for a movie, but that's not it. That's a higher budget for some of the movies we talk about, but that's still nothing for a movie.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a independent film budget is what they got for this movie. So some stuff about Kevin that we touched on a little bit when we did Night of the Demons is he actually wasn't a horror director. Like he never inspired to actually be a horror movie writer or director or anything. Okay. It's just that he had this story that he came up with Witchboard. He thought it would be a good story, but what he had to do was in this particular film, he wanted to focus more on the characters, like the character development on there. And you can see that while watching the film. There is a lot more, Jim and Danny going at it. They had a friendship, but now they're fighting over the redhead. The redhead's changing personalities because of the demon, blah, blah, blah. She's pregnant. She's not pregnant. There's a lot more character stuff involved. But he was worried about that because the film was supposed to be a horror film, so he didn't know if it was going to be scary or not. So the reason it kind of took so long in production was a couple things. Number one, they couldn't trademark how the movie called Ouija, okay, because that was already owned by
Marco Brothers.
Marco Brothers,
yeah.
So then he was trying to figure out, okay, what else is Ouija? That's when they came up with Witchboard. All right. And then they had a bunch of problems too. They had to cut a bunch of scenes to kind of like save the budget, but also make it scary too. All right. And then they had such a limited budget where, they had a big scene where they're going to have this big boat blow up and stuff, but they couldn't afford it. So they couldn't afford
that. Yeah.
So stuff like that was supposed to make the movie a little bit more intense than it was being. But he did save some parts, and they did do a screening. They also too, like, how some studios will pay to have people come in and watch your movie to see, if it's good enough for the audience. So the production company didn't have enough money for that. So they actually just brought random people in off the street to come check out this movie. All right. And to watch it and grade it. And I actually have a story about that. I did something like that myself, actually. Okay. So when I was living in Texas at the time, and I was walking around this mall called Grapevine, this is a long time ago. All right. There used to be this, they used to have like an office there that you could sign up and you can do like little testings for stuff like food testings, mostly food testings and like product testings out there. Okay. And one time you could sign up and you could watch a full episode of a TV show. And you would watch the full episode like on a laptop and everything, and at the end you would give your opinions about it. And you know what that show was that I did a testing on? No, it was Sons of Anarchy.
Really?
Yeah, one of the most popular shows. Yeah.
So you saw was the first episode, I guess?
The first episode, before it even came out. It was a testing, a free testing. Like they would actually pay me to test it. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So, but
go ahead.
What I'm getting to is this production company didn't have enough money to get somebody like me and pay me to test it. What they did was they just asked people off the street if you would come watch this movie for free and give your opinion. So that's what they did. So that's what he did. And that's when he figured out, okay, I have enough that I edited jump scares in that it could count as a horror movie. So that's what the whole process was. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's very indie. I like that. You know what I mean?
I like that too. I think that's a good idea. Like I've done that for a couple of movies. Yeah. Where but I never knew what the movie was. Like they would just say, show up at this time. We're going to pay you this amount of money and you're going to watch a movie. And this is how long the movie is. The only one I can specifically remember that was memorable was Elf. Yeah. I saw Elf like 6 months or so before it came out. But that was about it. But anyway.
So there's a couple of fun trivias on here too. I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
So the house in this film, the old Victorian house that Jim and Linda were staying in.
Yes.
Apparently that house was also used by a movie that we've been trying to do for a while, but we're trying to fit it in. Waxworks.
Really? It's the same house. It's from Waxworks. Yes. Okay.
And it's also in this movie called Wilder and a couple other movies too. Apparently, though, the Los Angeles home has since been retired as a filming location. So,
sad.
Yes. So they said like the principal photography was done at that mansion that we talked about. So I like this part. It's pretty fun. So he said, well, when the filmmakers had discovered that the Parker brothers didn't own the title, their attorney told them that they couldn't use the title, saying, Ouija or use as Parker brothers film in the film. Like we talked about. The errors and omissions carriers didn't improve the filmmakers, having already shot with the board, and they had to put up a $50,000 bond to prevent any potential legal, any kind of legal stuff. So basically, what happened was they changed the title to Witchboard, but in the film they bring up Ouija-board all the time. Right. You know what I mean?
Because you couldn't afford to go back and reshoot that.
Exactly. And there was a scene apparently where Bradley was explaining that the Ouija board is also known as a witchboard. That was cut out before they even figured out all this legal shit. All right. So you're like, oh, fuck.
Wow. So you know what I mean? So the one thing that would have saved them, they cut out of the movie.
Yeah. So it says on here, though there was no lawsuit, Walter Johnston stated that this shouldn't have been cleared before they started filming, basically, which is true.
Oh, yeah.
So they received the insurance to change the title to Witchboard, and they were allowed to pay the bond, as well to integrate the earlier board footage with the new board footage shown when Jim and Barton are at the Big Bear. So they even used basically, they also, at the beginning, notice that I guess that style of Ouija board was actually the one that was created by the Parker brothers.
Parker brothers?
Yeah. Okay. That's why they changed the other one to the green one. That's what I think it's saying on here. All right. So the filmmakers were divided about the title change, with many preferring Ouija, while others felt that Witchboard was a cooler title, which I think Witchboard's a cool title. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so this is when we call it Tony. When we talk about her a little bit, she said they made this movie first, and then she made the Whitesnake music video. While this film was in post-production, both were released around the same time. Like we said, because they were released around the movie and this video were made around the same time, like you were saying.
Exactly.
So the music video not only made her famous, it helped drive sales for Witchboard too. So there you go.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, obviously you've seen this video, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a popular one. Yeah.
I'm pretty much going to buy anything that this video tries to sell me, to be honest with you.
Which is mainly sex, brother.
Mainly, yes.
There we go. So director Kevin wrote the script. Okay, we talked about that. Obviously, you know, The Exorcist was a big, really big, influence on the film as well, too.
For sure. Yeah.
There was a couple interesting. Let's see. All right, so this part I thought was pretty funny. All right. So it says shooting the shower scene was difficult for Tony, as she felt nervous being totally nude in front of the camera. Okay, we feel that. To make her feel more comfortable, all the crew except the director and second camera loader assistants were kicked off the set once effects were up, set up and ready to shoot. But what made Tony feel better, it really upset the crew who wanted to hang around and watch.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like, fuck, come on, brother.
That wasn't what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say that they made the whole crew get naked with her at the set.
That'd be hilarious as well, too.
Yeah, everybody has to be naked during the scene.
So the reason the Tony got the role is because the producers liked her and the whole crew were infatuated with her because she was hot, redhead. All right.
Yeah.
So it says they shot the scene multiple times from several different angles. So she spent a lot of time naked and wet. During an interview on the Blu-ray release, the interviewer asked Kevin if Tony was game for the shower scene. He said yes and no. He said she'd done nudity before, and I think she's probably done it since. But unlike Linnea Quigley, our favorite on here, Retro Blood,
from Night of the Demons,
Night of the Demons, Return of the Living Dead, Silent Night, Deadly Nights, one of my favorites. She who has no problem just taking off her clothes and being naked on camera. Tony made sure it was very close set and was very worried about how she looked. So it took a little longer to shoot her shower scenes than it did to shoot Liana's nude scenes because she didn't feel comfortable doing it. So, which we could respect and everything. So, everybody's different, you know what I mean? And
exactly.
Speaking of Quigley, she does have a whole documentary of why she chose to do naked scenes more often. All right. And, it's just for the time she thought, I'll just break it down some stuff that she was mentioning. She said for the time frame of where she was filming in, for her to get more jobs at that time, it made it easier for her to be cast in multiple projects at the same time if she got nude. So
yes,
it's just different world, you know what I mean? So there's a couple other things. Apparently the cast and crew had their fair share of some eerie occurrences on set. Some of the crew, mostly those that came in earlier, had significant problems inside the 637 Lutheran Boulevard house, such as the crew bumping into things that weren't there. All right, as well as things have been moved that no one else around could have done during that time frame. Roy Ragnar especially felt a strong presence at the staircase where someone was walking behind him, and numerous occurrences where the cast and crew had whispered and talking, or heard whispering, talking. It's either they were getting fucked with, or maybe this one was a curse to film that we don't know about.
Maybe. So
there's a couple things. So Todd Allen, he played Jim, the main semi-asshole, but he became good guy at the end boyfriend, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
Toxic boyfriend, I guess, but not toxic. All right. Kevin felt he was the only one that was true to the role. Initially, Allen was worried he lost the role when he saw Tenney laugh while sitting in the audition room. I guess when he was auditioning, Tenney was laughing at him.
So he thought he was just saying that, no, there's no way we're going to take this guy, but we liked him.
Yeah, but Tenney told him later that he made him laugh because it reminded him of the way he talked and acted. So Tenney liked him because, this is the way I kind of like, this guy sounds like me. So it's perfect. So Allen received the benefits of returning with the filmmakers to read the actress and the auditions for the role of Linda, which Tony had read when he wasn't there. All right, so Kathleen Willahut, I think I said that right, she was the one who played the spiritual girl. Remember her?
Yep.
The spirit one?
psychic or whatever.
The
Yeah.
psychic girl. She was the one that first auditioned for the role, which is fun. So her character was kind of weird in the film. We'll get to that. Let's see. So apparently, both Tony and Stephanie later went on to appear on daytime soap opera Santa Barbara in 1984. Okay. So they all worked together again after this movie. All right. Let's see. Can I see some other stuff? So it says actress Stephanie Nichols points out on the Blu-ray comedy that his stand-in they hired for close-up shots of the character using the Ouija board had hands that were too tiny and feminine looking. Director Kevin jokes that he went to grade school to find little girls to play Nicole's hands. So a little bit of a rib. All right.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. And it says casting producer Rebecca Boss and director Kevin found Tony ideal for the part, as everyone in the later knew at the office, which were all males, noticing her the most, basically. So she had flown from New York prior to shooting, so Tony called up her agent about making a deal. She flew back to arrive on set while beginning. When she met Todd, they both became very intimate with their relationship. Tony saw that she brought an appeal that affected everyone at the time, which was something he initially didn't see. So basically, she basically controlled the room, which is cool. You know what I mean? Right. So another cool thing about this film too. All right. It says a remake of this film was released in 2024. It is directed by Chuck Russell. Okay. Who is known in the horror genre for A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, A Dream Warrior, and The Blob.
Interesting.
Both of them we've done on these shows before. I was
about to say we've done both those movies before.
Yes. The Blob is actually one of my favorite 80s film as well too. That's a great remake film, by the way. That one's a fun one. Everybody check that on Archives. Obviously, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, that's one of our earliest shit reviews. So you have to go back on the way. You pretty much have to go on Podbeam if you all want to hear the old stuff from us.
Back before we upgraded our equipment.
Everything, bro.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tie into the remake stuff. It's kind of fun over here. So some fun stuff too. They had oh god, what was her name on here? They had a pretty, I would say, a semi-famous actress at the time. She's the one who played the kind of like the housekeeper, Rose Maria. All right. And she was known. Let me see. She was known for the Dick Van Dyke Show. All right.
Oh yeah, she played Sally.
Sally. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. She played Sally on Dick Van Dyke Show. I love that show.
Yeah. And apparently she was supposed to have a bigger role. Like they filmed more scenes with her, but Kevin, he had to cut it out to save budget and time, and he felt bad about it, but he had to do it, just to keep the story moving along. So that's why we only saw her very little bit during the film.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that's fair because I feel like this movie is a little bit too long anyway. At an hour and 45 minutes, it should have been a trim 90 minutes, I think.
Yeah. But speaking of that, we will judge that for ourselves because I say let's get into it. Let's get into the first review of this beautiful March month, and let's talk about some spirits. Let's talk about some Ouija boards. Let's talk about being possessed by crazy demons. Let's talk about Witchboard.
Let's do it.
David, are you here? Can you hear me?
It began at a party. It was only a game.
David, will you return to the living one day? Bullshit. Careful, Jim. You're upsetting David. David, are you all right?
Yeah, he's all right. He's just a little dead, that's all.
Shut up, Jim!
What's he gonna do, haunt me?
Linda. This is Brandon. I just realized I left my Ouija there the other night. I'm having some friends over Sunday and they want to use it. Besides, I want to contact David and see if he's calmed down yet.
David, are you here? Are you still angry at Jim? David, where are you?
Man, don't tell me you bought that crap with Brandon and that board.
Oh, please.
Boy, David, you sure know how to hold a grudge, don't you? David?
I want to bring a medium by your apartment as soon as possible to exorcise the spirit.
Okay, let's talk to some ghosts.
David, where are you?
You!
Did you cause that accident at the site? David, don't lie to me.
When someone uses a Ouija alone, like Linda, she's very susceptible to the spirits she contacts. And the wrong spirit will take advantage of this. Pretty soon, all she wants to do is use the board. And once that's done, he's able to possess her.
Linda has made contact.
Linda, unlock the door.
David is here, and he's playing for real. It isn't a game anymore.
All right. So we start off. We're at a 1980s house party. All right.
Yeah. And it looks like a lot of fun, right?
Yeah. Just hanging out. Mm-hmm. Everybody dressing with nice little sweaters. You know what I mean? For some reason, that fucking Brandon guy, he was in a full suit. What the fuck?
I know. I thought that was weird. Like he seems like he's super fun, right?
Yeah. Well, at least they kind of pointed that out, though. Like Jim, and then when he met his friends were all just dressed up like us, like t-shirts and jeans and shit. And
like normal people. Right.
Yeah, I think it's like, brother, I think we don't dress up for this party. And Jim's like, oh, you guys are perfectly dressed. All right. So we start off at this house party. Apparently, we're in Fairville, California. Never been. We have Brandon Sinclair. He's like this rich dude, this rich blonde guy, who I'm pretty sure is like a nepo baby. All right. Because he spends his time using Ouija boards, and then he bitches at us. Oh, it's not said Ouija, it's Wanji or whatever. I'm like, shut the fuck up. All right, it's Ouija, asshole. That's what it is.
It's Ouija.
All right, that's what I say it. All right.
Yeah.
But then he's supposed to have a line that says Witchboard, but they cut that shit out. All right. So his ex-girlfriend is Linda, the hot redhead. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what. You know what I mean?
I can definitely.
Losers. No wonder she wouldn't have dated these two losers, brother. She's dating that Whitesnake guy. These fucking.
I was about to say I can definitely see what Whitesnake saw in her, but it just neither one of these guys look like they would be able to go out with her. Period. Yeah. But whatever.
And then apparently, Jim, so he's all like, Brandon's like, he's doing that thing where he's like hitting on her, but he's not. And then Jim's getting all pissy and then they kept having like a pissy fight between Brandon and Jim. All right. Go ahead.
So she was, to make sure I get this correct, if I remember this correctly, she was Brandon's ex-girlfriend, right?
Yes,
and she was she's currently dating Jim.
Yes. And Jim,
which is why we have this thing going.
Yeah. And Jim and Brandon used to be like best friends when they're younger. But ever since Jim started to date his ex, they get all pissy with each other.
Right, of course, yeah.
And then they explain that, I mean, it's basically like Brandon, and Linda broke up before Jim and her even got together. And then Jim, he didn't even know that they were dating before until they were actually dating in their relationship and everything. So, and of course, Linda, she's like oblivious. She's like, oh, I don't see what's the problem with this. All right. So the whole gimmick is Brandon he's pulling out the Ouija. All right, that's what you do at these parties. You ever pulled out the Ouija board at the party, Alison?
I don't even own one. I could see myself doing that too, but I don't even own one, which is kind of weird. Like, really, it seems like something I would own, to be honest with you.
I mean, I would just pull it out. Maybe he's trying to get laid or something. You know what I mean? That's when what would you pull out the Ouija board? Is it
it seems so random, right? Like he's just like, let's talk to this dead kid.
I mean, what happened to spin the bottle? Is that more of a '90s thing? Like this
no,
guy's talking about
I mean,
Ouija
I think that's something that you do if you're cooler than Brandon is.
Gotcha. So, well, they got the Ouija out there, and he said, listen, I'm not judging, but he says he spends his time talking to a little boy named David. And brother, you're like a nepo baby 20-year-old dude. Why are you talking to a little kid at spirit? Okay, that's a little creepy. Okay,
it is. The whole thing is a little creepy. It's all right. Yeah, the whole thing is a little creepy. The weird thing though is like the whole time that this was happening, I was like, I was thinking that he was talking to David Coverdale through the Ouija board. And that's how Linda met him. That's how Linda met him.
He's like, I got a hot redhead for you, brother. All right. Wait till you find this one. All right. So they're talking to David, and he's giving the whole spiel. Well, they do a couple spiels at these parties. First of all, they're talking about God a little bit, and if you believe in God, then they do science and shit. They talk about that. Then they get to the witchy stuff. Then they talk about that, and then when they finally start to communicate with David, he's explaining, well, I got to be careful because sometimes bad spirits will come on here and they'll pretend like they're David to like curse my soul and shit. All right, but I have a special sign with David, bro. This sounds like
does he say that before they try to use it?
No, he's using it, and then he could tell it wasn't David because him and David. Listen, I'm just gonna say this lightly. If this was made nowadays, like you have to switch up the storyline a little bit because it sounds like Who Crest the Predator kind of shit. Okay.
No shit. Like he's talking to a little boy.
And they have a code word for them to communicate with each other. Come on, man.
Yeah. It sounds like,
right?
It sounds like he's like a pedophile or something, but you know,
it's the 80s, brother. We don't do that in the 80s.
Brother, we don't worry about that in the 80s. No.
You'd be a spot up. You'd be
canceled. You'd be canceled.
All right. So he does this little sign with them. Like, oh my God. And apparently the story is David gets pissed off because he doesn't like Jim, because Jim's like giving a bunch of shit saying this is a bunch of fake bullshit. And then David gets pissed off at Brandon, the board goes flying, and then his tire pops out. All right. And that was the story that was the scene in the story that inspired this whole fucking movie. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, that the tires were flat. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now it's the next day. And then we can see there's also a little bit of drama, like we said, going on between Linda, Jim, and Brandon. You know what I mean? Jim's getting all pissy because Brandon did do the whole line like, oh, you're just going to go drink in there like your dad? Ooh. Oh, fucking sick burn. And of course, what Jim does, he drinks like his dad.
Yes.
That's what he does. All right. So it's the next day and everything. We can see a couple of scenes. So we see the first scene that Linda is using Brandon's board because he left it there. And Brandon he actually left.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong? So Brandon actually left a message saying, hey, I'm going to be going to another party and I'm going to be telling these guys I contact a 5-year-old boy. Can you please return that Witchboard to me? That must be like the hit thing to do, I guess, in the 80s, brother.
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like something that would make everybody like not want to talk to you anymore. Like I talked to a 5-year-old boy through this board.
Can we just make up maybe the younger, like 18? Like why is it going to be a little kid, brother?
Mid 25. I don't know.
And I like this one. My boy Brandon was like, hey, David told me that he's a spirit out there, but he can actually reincarnate himself into anybody he wants. All right.
Oh, he does say that. But
he can choose his family.
But he doesn't. He just chooses to stay dead for some reason.
So you're telling me all these spirits choose to be crackhead babies? I don't think so. All right.
No.
So now we have Linda using it, and there's 2 phone calls that she gets. She gets one from Brandon, one of his fucking board back. And then there's another one for the doctor about her test results for her possibly being pregnant. All right?
Yes.
So instead of calling the doctor like you would, she goes on the Ouija board.
Yeah. Right. Because the Ouija board is going to tell her if she's pregnant or not.
So the Ouija board, like, it did a couple things. She asked who she's mad about. The guy was mad about Jim. All right.
Yeah.
she asks like, "Hey, where can I find my diamond ring? It's in the fucking sink." All right.
Right.
And then she's asked, "Am I pregnant?" It says yes. And then she asks, "Hey, could you be my child?" That's kind of creepy. And then
That
he's
is
like,
weird,
"No."
yeah.
He's like, "No, I ain't doing that shit." All right. So, and then while this is happening, Jim is at work. All right. He's building houses.
Yeah.
Like a true man.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, he's a,
Yeah. And he lost his hammer hatchet deal. All right. And he's talking to his friend, who his friend was the guy who played his friend, with the hair, the glasses. Apparently that guy was supposed to be the role of Jim. But Kevin wanted to get it to Todd because he thought Todd was a little bit better suited for the role. So we're about to have a little switch. So they're talking about everything. They're kind of giving David, Brandon some shit.
Brandon.
And they're talking shit about Brandon, but they're also talking shit about the fake ghost of David because they think it's all just a bunch of hocus pocus bullshit.
A bunch of hokum. Yeah.
All right. So then, a long story short, basically, the guy standing there, he's hanging out, and then the drywall falls on his ass out of nowhere, and he dies from drywall. All right.
Drywall death.
Yeah. So his name actually was Lloyd Salvador. What a name.
Yep.
All right. So now Jim is being questioned by Lieutenant Duhas at Lloyd's funeral.
I was going to say that he was at the funeral.
Yes. Yeah, I know, just right there. And there's a couple of things that's going on. So Linda finds her diamond ring that she lost in the drain because the Ouija board told her where it was at. Because if you can notice now that the Ouija board is being friendly with her. All right. But also too, this is a scene where she finds her ring, she grabs it on, she's all happy. She closes the mirror, Jim's right behind her, and she freaks out and she actually curses at him. And then Jim's like, "Oh, that's the first time I actually heard you curse before." All right. So we can see that her personality is changing a little bit.
A little bit, but I mean that would be fucking scary though. Like, like if you opened up the mirror and then you close it back and somebody's standing behind you, it'd scare the shit out of you.
Yeah.
I mean,
So this is when Jim tells Linda about the accident that happened to Lloyd. So now they're at the funeral. Lieutenant comes up there and questions him. He was talking about, "Hey, I heard you're missing a hatchet and everything," and he's still missing it and can't find it. And the lieutenant also says that, "Hey, you were there and you saw them die," and he's like, "Yes." And then Linda was like, "Oh, you never said you were there." And he's like, "What does it matter?" So now we can see that people are thinking like maybe this is Jim. He might be the killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Showing some of that on there. So now over time, Linda starts using the Ouija board more. All right. So Linda uses it and asks the Ouija board like, "Hey, did you kill Lloyd?" All right. And his thing was like, I think it was like kind of lying to her saying no and everything. All right. And you could see that over time, the board was kind of taken over her a little bit. You know what I mean? She was more reliant on the board. All right.
Yeah. It's kind of like an addiction type thing.
Yeah. All right. And so now, like, David is calling her, but like, "Hey, you never dropped off my board. Like, I need to go into this party and tell people."
No, Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, whatever. The creepo Brandon who wants to talk to kids.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, "Yo, I need that for the next party." And she's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I've been using it a little bit." He's like, "Oh shit, you've been using it on by yourself?" And she's like, "Yeah." All right. And then, there's a little kitty. He's like the second co-star we have on this show. What up?
I know he loves every time I do the show. He always comes over here like every single time.
Hey, Kat,
come on, lay down, buddy.
Kat, how do you feel about Brandon talking to spirit kids? How do you feel, Kitty?
I don't know. I have to take my headphones off, put them on him so he can hear. But maybe he'll just chill out here for a little bit. There we go.
Out there.
I'll get this like Dr. Evil.
So basically, he wants the board back and everything, right?
Yeah.
And he's kind of worried, but they say like, "Hey, you probably shouldn't use that on yourself because every time I've used it and stuff, I've been with people, but I heard like if you use it by yourself, like you can get trapped easier by spirits and stuff." and she doesn't believe in everything. And he goes and Brandon goes to talk to Jim a little bit about it too. Brandon goes to talk to Jim about it too, saying that she might be getting a little bit more irritated. And this is also too when Linda kind of breaks the news to Jim too that she's pregnant. All right, for sure, because the Ouija board told her. She didn't talk to the doctor.
Right, she didn't talk to the doctor, but the Ouija board told her that she was pregnant.
Because she was also experiencing nausea symptoms as well too. Okay.
Yeah, like.
So
is that the only reason she thinks she's pregnant?
Yeah, it was because
she was getting nauseous.
Yeah. Basically, it was her personality was changing like you would if you're pregnant. You know what I mean? You get more irritated, you get nausea.
Well, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's why she was believing, because the Ouija board was telling her the truth before. Why wouldn't it now? Okay.
You can definitely tell this movie was written by a man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So now Brandon's bringing over a psychic medium named Sarah Crawford. All right.
Yeah. Also known as Zarabeth.
Yeah, Zarabeth, brother. And she was like the 80s comedy of the movie, basically. She's like the spiritual one with the hair and everything.
Yeah.
So they're doing a seance, and she's doing all these jokes during the seance and stuff. So now she's doing she was glad she just did a seance because she says exorcisms are kind of hard to do. So Zarabeth channels David.
You don't do that every day.
So now this is when we hear that David claims to be a 10-year-old boy. All right. And this further leads Linda to become proactive of David and her communication with him, because she wants to learn more about David even after this seance happened.
Right. But did we not know that before? Like, we knew he was a little kid before, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Brandon say he was a little kid?
Yeah, Brandon said he was a child. I don't know if he knew exactly how old he was. But he knew he was communicating with a child who's dead. And I think he died like something mysterious or something like that. But now
all I hear is that To Catch a Predator guy coming out and
pretty much
questioning about it. But anyway.
Right when they had a magic code for them to communicate, I was like, "Whoa, hold on a second here, brother. Okay, let's bring this one over there. Let's watch out there." Okay. So basically what happened now after the seance and everything, Zarabeth making all kind of jokes about spirits and shit, open the door, whatever. Brandon brings her home, but she was kind of serious, saying like, I did feel something weird in that house. You know what I mean? I felt like this, like she said, I felt like this present before. That didn't feel like the present of like, the kid. All right. Something else.
Yeah.
So she goes home and then she's trying to do some research. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And before she was doing this research and stuff, we have the spirit has come to life and slashes her throat on a mannequin and throws her out the window.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mannequin, yes.
And this is like she was basically doing the spirit of Carlos Melifor, the crazy
Melifor, something like that.
Melifor, brother.
So is this the first time we see him, right? This is the first time we know about a serial killer, right?
Yeah,
she's serial killer.
She basically what's going on is this Carlos guy is pretending to be David to possess Linda. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Do the progressive on her. And Zarabeth, you remember she was having like two different kind of readings. All right. And she could tell that David was the one that was actually talking to them, but that other one was coming in there too. And she was trying to figure out like, because I guess when you do readings, you kind of see pictures or something, or you get some information in your head. And she was trying to research of who the other person was, and she found it. And right when she found who it was, that Carlos guy, his spirit came to life and killed her. Because they could do that.
Yeah, because they can do that. You would think though that David would warn them about this serial killer spirit before he did, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, Well, maybe he can't
because he knows about him.
Maybe he's too scared.
Well, okay, maybe that's true. He is only a 10-year-old boy.
Zarabeth got killed by the same hammer and hatchet that Jim was missing. By the way, so.
Yeah, it's convenient that he loses like this serial killer weapon.
I did like it when she ran. She fell like Zarabeth fell on the sundial, like implanting her. I thought that was a cool scene where she was dying.
That was pretty cool.
She did a good scene of her dying. I thought that was pretty good. So we have the next morning, Brandon hears about the death and suspects that David killed her. Because remember, they thought that David blew out the tire, which he really did.
Yeah.
And they thought David killed Lloyd. And now they think David is now killing, Zarabeth. So anybody tries to channel him, they think it's David. All right. But Jim is also, he's kind of skeptical. He's like, I still don't know if this would be like actual spirit stuff. It could just be coincidence,
Could all be a coincidence.
Coincidence, shit happens.
Sure.
People fall out the window all the time.
All the time, yeah. And they get their throat slashed and thrown out the window all the time. It's just a sheer coincidence that we're using the Ouija board to talk to the dead.
Yeah, exactly. Come on now.
No big deal.
So Brandon's he starts to seek some more information. Jim now witnesses Linda violently throwing against the wall. She gets thrown against the wall, rendering her unconscious. Because remember, at the time right now, since she's been contacting so much that Carlos has almost taken over her whole body. All right.
Yeah.
So then she's brought to the hospital, and then doctors confirm that Linda is not pregnant, and they have no, they don't know what's going on with her. All right. But now we find out that she's actually not pregnant, and all those symptoms. Because they kept saying like her behavior, everything like that is all her just being pregnant. All right, so that's why they were kind of brushing her behavior off after the whole seance. But now we find out that she's not pregnant, so now it's basically her being taken over by the Ouija. All right. So,
remind me, is this the point where she's unconscious and in the hospital?
Yeah.
For a while, yeah, okay,
yeah. So now Jim teams with Brandon to conduct some research on finding David. So this is when they buy the Parker Brothers Ouija board, and they bring it out to the dock
from Wanda's warehouse.
Yeah, Wanda's warehouse, brother. Yeah, they just go in there, find it, no problem, leave. The girl that sold them to her was hot too, so that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you always got to have the hot witchy girls around here, brother.
Yeah, exactly.
So they break. So if I had a Ouija board, Allison, would you go to a house that's safe and meditate?
No, I go to the lake.
Yeah, you go to the lake, but with a bunch of barrels hanging right there.
Big heavy things right beside you that can kill you.
Nothing can go wrong here.
Nothing can go wrong.
So they start trying to contact David by doing their special code, which is creepy. All right.
Yes.
And apparently so they do a couple things. Okay. Before they go to the lake, they actually go to a newspaper article about the 10-year-old boy named David Simpson who drowned in a nearby lake. That's why they went to the lake, because they wanted.
That's why they went to the lake, but still, yeah.
Whatever. All right. Jamie and Brandon travel to the lake and use another board to attempt to communicate with David. I'm just saying, they maybe should have stayed out of the way of the barrels.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Or just went home, and they had no trouble communicating with them before without going to the lake. They didn't even know about the lake until this point in the movie.
Well, I guess they.
You know what I mean? So
I think what their plan was, because I think they might have suspected some other evil spirit is taking over. So I think their plan was to go to the lake where the kid died, because that's when you had the best reading.
I guess so, yeah.
So I'll give them to that. I'm just saying you could have picked a better little area within the lake presence.
You're right.
There was 10 years of horror movies before this. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, and they haven't seen any of them. I mean, they could even went inside the little building that was there, and it would have been fine. Well, in fact, they were in the little building to start. They were in the building to start with, and then they went outside for some reason to use the Ouija board.
You get better light on.
All right. Yeah, your Wi-Fi doesn't go. Your dead people Wi-Fi doesn't go through the roof.
Exactly. Come on now. So they eventually learn that it's not David doing all the shit, getting Linda and everything. It's Carlos Mantiro has been terrorizing Linda all along.
Kind of. So, but at this point they are talking to David, but but the funniest part of this was like when they were like asking him all these questions, and he's spelling out, he tells them about Carlos Melfitor or whatever the guy's name is.
Yeah.
And then they're like, where is he? And then they're like, he's like H-E-R. And then they're all confused because he's like, Melfitor is her? And then they're all like confused. And then they think about it. They're like, David, did you misspell a word?
Yeah.
And so then he was like H-E-R-E, and I'm like, he can't spell here. Like of all words to misspell, like the most simplest word, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, he's 10 years old. He should be able to spell here.
And then
it was, I don't know. It was like,
here it is because the barrels come crashing down, brother.
Yep.
And so when the barrels come crashing down, I believe Brandon gets knocked into the water. Jim kind of gets knocked in there too, but he gets up on the deck. And apparently Brandon dies from barrels.
Barrel death. So we've had so far we've had a knife cutting thrown out the window, death by drywall, and death by barrel.
There you go, brother. We got we're going down the gamut.
We're good. We're going,
All right.
Going down the road.
All right. That's better than death by plastic, I guess. I don't know.
That's true.
So now, like, this thing was weird because they got all messed up and everything. And Jim gets up. He's all looking around. And I guess he's going to look for Brandon. And apparently, Brandon's dead corpse has enough muscle power to jump out of the water, grab him, and then lean on him, and then dies.
Yeah.
So there goes Brandon.
He wasn't quite dead.
I guess.
All
right. So now it's nighttime. We have Jim now researching Carlos's biography and learns that he was an axe murderer shot by police in his home in 1930, the same residence him and Linda live at.
What a coincidence.
Go. What a coincidence, brother.
I think it's amazing that these college students can live in a mansion like this.
Well, this is the 80s, brother. All right.
It's the 80s. It was cheaper then.
Oh, by the way, a little subplot. A subplot we forgot to talk about, which we should have. My bad. Before, basically when Linda got into the hospital and everything, Jim and Brandon decided to team up, and this is when they kind of buried the hatchet of them hating on each other. All right.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was a pretty cool moment. Like, basically Brandon was all like, hey man, I don't know why we used to be best friends as the kids and everything. When Linda came in, I was in love with her, but we broke up, and then you guys started to date and I was jealous and everything. And Jim's like, yeah, man, I didn't even know that. And we were hating on each other. So they eventually made up and stuff. And then there was a funny joke that Brandon was like, yeah, man, I don't know why she was just, maybe she just disappointed me. And Jim's like, your sex game. Oof. All right. And then
you just couldn't let that one go.
Then they started laughing, and then they made up. And then Brandon died. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here, you pedophile.
And then also, too, Jim, I don't know why this was a big deal, because he was also like, well, I went to medical school. I'm like, brother, you're nowadays, building houses and trades pays almost even more than medical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least equal. Some
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You know how much those fucking carpenters make? Fuck.
A lot. Yeah. I mean,
so
and it doesn't cost nearly as much money to get approved, to get trained for that.
The trained by it too. So skills nowadays are way different than they used to be.
Yeah. Learn a trade, kids.
They're trade kids. Yeah.
Be a plumber or electrician or something. Yeah. See, we should be on PBS.
I know.
Or NPR. NPR should air us. We'll be educational.
I would love to do a TED Talk. You know what I mean? Talk about just some random shit that nobody would care about. You know what I mean?
That's pretty much what we do every week.
The difference between sex scenes in the 80s and 2026 of how they're different. I'll TED Talk about that. Imagine that. All right. So now Linda discharged herself from the hospital now, because remember, she is fully possessed by Carlos.
I was watching this when I was out in public, and I openly laughed at this part, because they're talking about how she can't, Melfitor can't possess her because she's unconscious.
Yeah.
And then in the very next scene, she's like, I'm checking myself out of the hospital.
Yep. There you go. She's fine. So next day, Jim finds the home in disarray before a possessed Linda attacks him. I like it how Linda, when she attacks him, she was wearing the hat. like a pilgrim, and then she has the axe.
I thought it turned like being possessed turns her into a goth girl because she has like the dark eye makeup now, and she's wearing this strange suit that she has for some reason that fits her, like dressed like the 30s serial. Like why does she even have the suit?
Yeah,
what a coincidence.
So now Duhas, remember that fucking cop? He totally expects Jim is the killer because remember, Jim was around when Lloyd died. Jim, the same axe was killed to kill Karabeth. Brandon was the next murder victim that knew Jim. Okay, so now Duhas is on the scene and he's going to confront Jim. And in this scene, he sees that Jim is over Linda right now because she's possessed. And then Duhas starts to accuse Jim of the murder. All right, but before Duhas can even shoot him or take down Jim, Linda turns heel, I guess, and strikes Duhas with the fire poker.
The thing is, like, every time I heard that guy's name in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, I immediately just started thinking of that Rammstein song.
Yeah, Duhas, brother.
When it goes Duhas. Like I just thought of that every single time I heard that guy's name. But anyway, So death by fire poker. So now we've got 4 deaths.
Yeah. So now
because she's like become a goth girl.
So now Jim is coming back trying to get his revolver. Linda tells them that he's the portal, taunting him and attempting to drive him to suicide. Instead, Jim shoots the board before he is pushed through the window and lands on a car. So basically,
that was a great special effect, right?
Yeah. So basically, they were trying to convince Jim he's gonna be taken over, but he eventually shoots the board. All right. But then during that,
he was going to shoot himself first. Remember?
Yeah, because they were trying to possess him to do it. Yeah, and he eventually shoots the board, and then the him falling on the car scene. That scene right there, Kevin said it was very inspired by some Hitchcock filming style.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. I didn't even think about that, but that's how Rear Window ends.
Yeah.
So like the way they use the color separation overlay, where they just film the guy like doing this.
Yeah.
For the people on YouTube doing this. And then they just have the background behind him. But in 1959, that was a cool effect. In 1987, not so much.
Yeah. So basically he got pushed through the window, lands on a car. And apparently after the events, Jim and Linda, they're fine. I guess Jim's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
Jim's fine. You can fall out of a window onto a car and have no problems.
Yeah. Well, it was maybe it's all that working out and making homes. You know what I mean?
Making homes or the cocaine or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So now he feels free. He's free from the Carlos influence. They resume their lives and marry each other. Their landlady, Mrs. Moss, finds the board while cleaning out the home with her granddaughter and wonders if it still works. The board is then thrown into a box where it moves to the word yes by itself. Ooh. That means the board still works. Because we're gearing up for a sequel, number 2.
Which has nothing to do with this movie, from my understanding.
Yeah, probably not. Which brings me to this segment of talking about what is coming up on the Retro Bud.
Yeah.
So
how convenient.
Yes. So the movie ends, and that's how it ends. But now we're going to be talking about what's on the docket for this month of the Retro Blood.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Retro board,
brother. That'd be cool. There you go. That'd be the whole little anything. So here's how we're going to do it. So there was a couple movies we had on the docket that we were thinking about, but there's a couple on them that had like 3 sequels. There's one that had like 6 sequels. So what we're going to do is, since we did Witchboard, we thought it would be only proper for us to do Witchboard 2. The Devil's Doorway. All right.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
And I can't really, unless you own this shit, which I don't. The only way I found it for all you out there is you can watch it on YouTube. There is a stream on YouTube you all can watch it on. So we're not going to do Witchboard 3, The Possession, even though I would like to. I just can't find it anywhere. If y'all know where to find it, maybe comment below, but I don't know where to find the shit. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, it's not on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't have no fucking back alley J.H. Alison DVD either. All right. So
No.
what we're gonna do is we have that movie, those two movies on that movie on the docket, Witchboard 2. And then we're gonna be coming back. We're gonna be doing The Slayer.
Ooh,
right.
I wouldn't want to do this one for a while.
Secret Passions, an Alison special. All right. And Necromancer.
Yeah, this is going to be a good month.
Yes.
I like these spirit possession months.
Yeah, and that should be about 5 in total, counting this one. So, yeah, it should be fun. And actually, there'll probably be a sequel down the road for this too, because there's a shit ton of spirit possessed month. We have a couple in the docket as well too. But some final thoughts. I thought this movie was pretty fun. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the director. I like the way he formats his movies. You know what I mean? I think he is pretty good directing when it comes to like real character development. I thought he does pretty good compared to some other movies we see in the 80s. You know, it wasn't the scariest piece of business and stuff, but I thought overall was a pretty fun movie. This one was.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, especially for what the amount of money he had, I thought this was great. I would watch this again.
Yeah. So we'll see how number 2 does. You know what I mean? You never know how sequels are going to do, but you know, we'll see.
You never know.
But everybody, thanks for joining us here on the Retro Blood. Remember to like and subscribe. Comment below if y'all have something funny to say. Tell us your stories of Linda, of Jim and Brandon. Tell us your stories of Witchboard. Maybe you watched it as a little youngster. Maybe you have some fond memories of it. Comment below. We always love to hear from you guys. Like I said, like and subscribe. We're on Apple. Was it Spotify? Everything you get your podcast from. So, but Alison, to get us out for our first review of the month for all of our podcast listeners, what kind of Whitesnake sexy song are we be playing here tonight, brother?
You know, let's we might as well play the one with Tawny Kitaen in it, right? Might as well play Here I Go Again. Here we go again. Here I go again on my own.
Here we go again, brother.
Down the only road I've never known. Yeah, or however the song goes.
Because we know Jim and definitely Linda are definitely on their own. They know a bunch of roads they don't know anymore. But they're
going down the road
after all the death, destruction. They're ready to create a whole new life, all on their own.
Yeah, I guess so.
But everybody, J.H. Alison, James Kline, we'll see you all next week on the Retro Blood.
Yeah, see you guys.